Hello, welcome to the Tarot Read Show. My name is Dylan, and I'm the host. And yeah, this is a general reading episode where I'll just be doing a general reading for each of the zodiac signs. I'll lump them into their elements. So we'll be starting with water signs this week, then we'll go to earth, fire, then air. And each week I choose a different topic for the general readings, and this week it's what I'm going to be calling a life event reading, and that is look back to the most recent major life event. This is a reading that could apply to, it could be a love reading, it could be a career reading, it could be a family, a health reading, any sort of thing. Think back to the most recent big event in your life, and you'll know it right off the bat. And this reading is just a way to sort of recontextualize that and maybe give some insight into it and just the ways that what you can take away from it. This will be a 3-card draw like all of mine, and like I said, the first card will be basically what worked about this event, what worked for you. The second card will be what didn't work, and the third card will be what lesson we can take away from it. It'll be as easy as that. So let's go and get started. Like I said, we'll start with the water signs this week, which means we'll be starting with Cancer. Cancer, this is your life event reading. Just again, think of any major life event, the most recent major event in your life, and you should know it right off the top of your head. You probably are thinking about it a lot. And this is just a reading to maybe help recontextualize that. We'll take a look at what worked about it, what didn't work about this event for you personally, and what lesson you can take away from it. All right, and this is Cancer, the water sign. So, let's go ahead and get started. All right, the last major life event. This could be like a love reading, could be health, could be almost anything. So, let's go. Here we go. Oh no, just gotta see, I run my finger along the edge, and then I do have to make sure I grab the right ones. Okay. Alright. So what worked about this event? What didn't work? And lesson learned. I like that as a lesson learned card. Alright. So I am more of a visual reader. I do have the my trusty guide here for what the just very basic traditional meanings are. But what I get from this spread is definitely someone who, for what worked, for what's sticking out for me, for what works in this picture is just kind of the simpleton nature of the cat. It's no knock on anybody, but maybe what I get from this is somebody who you maybe kind of lucked into something in whatever this big event was. So maybe this was a good event that happened, but even if it wasn't, you did sort of luck into something. Pentacles are more of a material item. Maybe even you're going to luck into something from this, the circumstances around this weren't necessarily in your control, and maybe something good happened outside of your control. And in fact, what didn't work was maybe you trying to control it. The swords are more of a mental card. I get the sense of somebody here who is on a mission a bit, and just I feel like you maybe went into this feeling like you could control it, and that just didn't happen. And the lesson learned is sit back, relax, don't think so much, don't go around collecting swords. Hang the swords, just and sit there and relax. Don't let your mind run so much. And I think that in the future, you'll find that you benefit by doing that. All right, good read. Thank you, Cancers. All right, up next, water sign Scorpio. This is your life event reading. So think back to the last major life event. This could be a love reading, almost a health reading. This could be almost any kind of reading. Think back to the last major event in your life. You probably know what it is. These cards are going to help you kind of recontextualize what happened. All right. So this is what I'm calling a life event reading. Okay. All right, and yep, I keep it simple. We have the first card will be basically what worked about this. Second card will be what didn't work, and the third card will be what lesson we can take away from this. All right. All right. I run my fingers along the edge until it feels right, but then I do gotta make sure I don't lose the cards when I go to grab them. There we go. All right. First card, what worked? Of Major Arcana. What didn't work? All right. And lesson to take away. All right. So now in regards to this... Okay, yeah, I'm getting a pretty clear read on this. What worked and what didn't work. What worked for you was just barreling ahead. Whatever this event was, you did the most successful part of this for you. Look back on this event was just you barreling onward and not looking back. What didn't work. I'm more of a visual reader, so I don't necessarily know the traditional meanings of all the cards super well, but this card, it does jump out at me as somebody showing their talent, and maybe that is what didn't work here, was maybe at some point in whatever this whole thing was, you felt like you were maybe coming out of your shell and showing off a bit, and that just didn't work. But what did work was making sure you kept your head down, getting progress, and maybe those two things aren't mutually exclusive. Maybe you could be doing both, and unfortunately you didn't shine quite as much as you wanted to, but you were able to make progress. And the lesson learned here, I think, is maybe to just sit back a bit more and trust in the other people around you to bring you more kind of peace, and you were trying to show off your talents, but maybe in this case other people were supposed to show off their talents, and you were maybe supposed to kind of again keep pushing forward and just take the benefit of other people's talents for once instead of trying to show off your own. All right, yeah, thank you for watching Tarot Read Show on YouTube. And up next, we have the Pisces reading, the fishies, the final water sign, as it were. All right, and again, this is a life event reading. Basically, whatever the last major event in your life, you probably already know what it is. This is just a way to maybe reevaluate, recontextualize it. So the first card that we have is going to be basically what worked about this whole thing. The second card is going to be what didn't work. And the third card will be lesson learned. And, these might be things that are obvious to you. It might be a thing where you're like, wait, what worked about that? Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, it's just, it's not the hope that it's going to be obvious, but, maybe it will be too. Let's see what the cards say. All right. There we go. All right, what worked? Huh. What didn't work? Lesson learned. Okay. The Ten of Swords, again, I'm more of a visual reader, but this card does, and just by the looks of it even, it always kind of represents endings, and that is, what worked is that you decided to finish this. What didn't work? See, for me, the wands are all just a hand coming out of a cloud. I feel like they all kind of represent a gift from God. And I guess in the context of what didn't work is spiritually, maybe what didn't work is hoping that, or maybe holding out and waiting for the universe to spiritually fulfill you, I guess. Yeah, the aces are always a little iffy to me, and maybe I'll take a look at what the traditional meaning is. But for lesson learned, I just love this card, but in this deck in particular. But I guess the devil is always about kind of conflicting emotions and learning. I mean, not necessarily learning, but knowing that you shouldn't trust yourself and you can't. I guess I don't know. It's a rough thing. I guess lesson learned is to just be a bit more, have a bit more scrutiny, I guess. I don't know. Complicated card, especially when this is a very general reading. Like, I can't know if it's talking about a relationship or health or, but yeah, just in general, you have to have a bit more scrutiny of your own actions, I guess, is the lesson to be learned here. Yeah. All right. Thank you for watching. And again, Tarot Read Show on YouTube. All right, we are on to the Earth signs, and the first Earth sign we got is Capricorn. And again, this is a life event reading, so just think of the last major event in your life. These cards are basically just going to help kind of clarify things and maybe recontextualize things for you. All right, that's the goal. And the first card will just be basically what worked about this event. Second card will be what didn't work necessarily, and the third card will be the lesson that we can kind of take away from it. And the interesting thing about this reading is, it's the last major event in your life. It could be a love reading, could be a health reading, could be family, just whatever the last major event in your life is. All right. Capricorns, here we go. So I run my fingers along the side and try to keep the cards in view as best I can, but it's hard with the camera up there. But all right. First card, what worked. Second card, what didn't. Third card, lesson learned. All right. Yeah, these cards always just make me chuckle, but here we go. Especially you got the Ninja Turtle cats there. So this is kind of interesting for me. So I'm more of a visual reader. I always like to remind people of that when I start. This first card, I like instead of the traditional card meanings, and for this card, the first two cards combined, I kind of see somebody who, what worked about this was maybe the fact that whatever you were going through with this, you had a mentor, and maybe not only a mentor, maybe you had other people going through the same thing with you too. But on a spiritual level, just you felt like you had somebody who was there with you, who could kind of guide you. But maybe what didn't work is actually that they were in your ear a bit too much. Maybe they it's kind of a give and take thing, is that thank goodness they were there for you, but maybe they could have been there for you a bit less and let you handle things on your own. And actually combined with this third card, lesson learned, maybe you kind of need to suffer through being alone. Like this last card in particular is normally sort of it's obviously a grumpy cat, and the way I typically see it is somebody who needs to learn not to necessarily work alone and doesn't need to learn to accept help, but just for some reason in this spread, to get more of a visual vibes reader, right now this card is telling me it's somebody who does need to learn to work alone, and maybe it's time that whatever help you're getting, maybe now you don't necessarily need it anymore. Maybe you don't need that help so much, and that's a good thing. So there you go, something to think on. Thank you, Capricorns, and again, at Tarot Read Show on YouTube. All right, these next cards are for the Tauruses, and again, this is a life event reading. Just think of the last major event in your life. These cards are kind of to help clarify and maybe recontextualize something that maybe happened, all right? It could be kind of a love reading. This could end up being a health reading. It could almost apply to anything. You should already know pretty much what that big event was. It's probably been on your mind, all right? So just give it a roll. Again, this is for the Tauruses out there. Alright. So, what worked? What didn't work? And lesson learned. Excuse me. Alright. Alright. So, I am more of a visual reader. I'll just let you know that. And, just for what worked and what didn't. The swords are more of a mental card. It kind of pertains to that. So, what I get from this is what worked is when you did kind of maybe brainstormed and even possibly kind of mentally went to a place you wouldn't normally go. And this might be kind of a hard thing for you to pinpoint what I'm talking about here, because that feels a little esoteric. But just think back to a moment where you maybe had to kind of think outside the box or something. That's what worked for you here, is the thinking outside the box. What didn't work for you here, see, now as a visual reader, I don't have a lot to go off of on a card like this, but I am just getting the vibes of somebody who is a bit overconfident and maybe didn't earn it. That's, the vibes changed based on the reading. But, I would say what maybe didn't work here was just you maybe not trusting in yourself too much, but just being overconfident, maybe being too overzealous with your ideas. You should maybe kick back, and the lesson learned here is specifically trust the people closest to you in your life, and let them maybe influence your ideas a bit more. Don't be so stoic. Don't be so on your own, wielding that sword alone. What works is when you let the people closest to you in your life influence you. Not like somebody at work, if this was a work problem, not, like a neighbor, if this was some health issue, make sure it's the people closest to you are the ones who will definitely be able to help you moving forward. So be sure to focus on them. All right. Thank you very much, Tauruses, and again, at Tarot Read Pod on YouTube. All right, this is the final Earth sign reading for the Virgos out there. Again, this is a life event reading. Just think of the last major event in your life. These three cards are going to kind of help provide some clarity and maybe recontextualize things for you is the idea. But the first card will basically tell you what worked about this thing. Second card, what didn't work. And then the final card will be the lesson that you can take away. And this could end up being like a love reading. It could end up being a health sort of thing. Just you should know what the last big event in your life that's kind of been on your mind is. All right? So let's see what the cards have to say for the Virgos. Right near the top. All right. 1, 2, 3. What worked? All right. What didn't work? And the lesson, kind of an interesting spread there. If you're a drinker, this might be a bit of a wake-up call in particular. So what worked? I guess what I would take away from this card, what worked is maybe it's quiet contemplation and just, I don't want to say being in your feelings, but maybe that is what worked. Like maybe at some point during whatever this big event was, you maybe you did break down a bit, and maybe that was the catharsis that you needed. Sometimes you do need to sort of reach your low to be able to crawl your way out and get back to your highs. What didn't work? I mean, this card almost exclusively to me means kind of heartbreak, but the swords in there, it could definitely mean more of a mental sort of psychic damage almost. What didn't work about what worked is that this quiet contemplation and being in your feelings maybe did hurt you a bit. Because, I've been in a place myself where you think too much about why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, and it does somehow make you feel worse, even if it can make you reach clarity. And the lesson I think to learn in that is temperance, like it's saying, is to figure out how to balance this quiet contemplation with these mental damages that you do to yourself, so that you don't do the mental damage to yourself. The quiet contemplation did work, but hurting yourself different. And the lesson to take from this is that you can have the quiet contemplation without the hurting yourself, as long as you can have a bit of temperance, as long as you can find that balance in yourself. And you can. You just have to work a bit more at it. All right. Thank you, Virgos. And again, at Tarot Read Show on YouTube. All right, we're on to the fire signs now, and we're going to start with Aries. And again, this is a life event reading. Just think of the last major event in your life. These cards are going to kind of help provide some clarity, maybe recontextualize things for you, okay? And we have the first card is what worked about this thing. Then we have what didn't work about this event. And then finally, the lesson that we can learn, the thing that we can take away from this, all right? And you should know what this event was. This could be a love reading in a way. It could be a health reading. This could be a family reading or a finance reading. This could be any kind of reading. But you probably do know what event I'm talking about. All right, here we go. For my Aries out there. There we go. There. Alright. Run my finger along the edge until it feels right, and then have to grab those cards. Alright. First card. What worked? Huh. Okay. Interesting. What didn't work? And lesson learned. Okay. And I'm more of a visual reader, just I don't go off of really the traditional tarot card readings. And what I'm getting from this spread, just from looking here, oddly, that is such a negative card almost always for the Three of Swords, obviously. And to get it in a what worked category, I think this just means that you had to do something hard. You had to do something that maybe, I don't want to say it broke your heart, but it was hard to do, and that is the thing that worked. That is what ended up working for you, and combined with the Knight of Pentacles, with the what didn't work card there, I think what didn't work was you trying to be generous, maybe you trying to put yourself out there and make this work without having to do the thing that ended up breaking your heart. I think that is just you maybe you wanted to do it the nice way and you just couldn't make it work, and that's where this final lesson learned card is a little confusing to me, just because typically I would think it would imply that working together is what works here, but maybe the implication is just make sure that you're trying to work together with the people who work together well with you. Maybe like for this is just for example. Again, this could be a love reading or a health reading. But if this were a career reading, maybe you're the boss and you really tried to let this new guy, give him a shot, and it just didn't work out for whatever reason, and maybe you even saw it coming, and yeah, it just sucks that it didn't work out. The lesson to learn is not take chances on people, but maybe just trust your gut more, and put your trust in the people who you actually definitely feel deserve it. And we all know who those people are in our lives who we trust. I think that's maybe the lesson to take from this. Thank you again, Aries, and again, Tarot Read Show on YouTube. Definitely please follow. All right. Up next, our second fire sign, Leo. And again, this is a life event reading, so just think about the last major event in your life. This could be a love thing, it could be a career thing, could be a health thing. Think about the last major event in your life, and this is just, these three cards are to kind of help provide clarity and maybe recontextualize, or even just normal contextualize whatever happened to hopefully give some clarity. All right, and how we do that is the first card will basically be what worked about this whole event that happened. The second card will be what didn't work, and then the third card will be kind of what lesson we can learn. Oh, I'm dropping cards. Easy as that. All right, well, let's do it. This is for my Leos out there. Grab the right three. Oh, got itchy kind of slow. Right. Okay, sorry about that. All right, first card. What worked? I don't draw that card often. Major Arcana card. What didn't work? The Aces. And another Major Arcana. I'm gonna have to draw that. That's supposed to say a lesson learned. So just so you're aware there. Oh. Redraw that in a moment. I do apologize. All right, so yeah. Let me take a moment. The thing, I'm more of a visual and a vibe sort of reader. I don't go off of the traditional meanings of the cards, for the most part. And the thing that I always take away from the moon is kind of some weird sort of chaotic sort of energy. There's definitely a bit of a kind of illusion and mystery about the card in general. I always know, there's towers in it, and the tower itself is also kind of a chaotic card. Weirdly, maybe what worked in this instance is just that you didn't have a plan. Flying by the seat of your pants when you had to in whatever this big event was, it actually ended up paying off. What didn't pay off was I always see the Aces. They're all just a godlike hand reaching down, and I see this as somebody who them hoping that the world was going to give them something to solve their problems for them. That didn't pay off. So waiting for somebody else to come in and solve the issues for you, never going to pay off for you, unfortunately. And the lesson learned here is just to kind of maybe let go and get back to letting the universe run things for you, and don't expect it to run things for you in a way that's going to reward you for it. All right, you do just have to sit back and remember that the universe is chaotic, and you will have peaks, you will have valleys. And it's not all going to be good, it's not all going to be bad, and take a moment, hang there, and remember that you can't expect the universe to reward you, but what did work for you is the chaos, and the lesson to learn is that sometimes the chaos is where we have to live. All right, thank you, Leos, and again, at Tarot Read Show on YouTube for more readings. All right, definitely weekly general readings. Thanks for watching. All right, this is the final fire sign reading for Sagittarius, my Saggy bros out there. I'm a Sagittarius myself. And remember, this is a life event reading. So what this is think of the last major event in your life. These cards are to help kind of provide clarity on this event and maybe sort of recontextualize it for you. All right, and we do that by the first card will tell us sort of what worked about this event. The second card will tell us what didn't work. And the third card will tell us the lesson we learned. And unfortunately, I did smudge that and completely forgot to fix it. Just remember that's supposed to say lesson learned. All right. And I will conveniently put a card over it when I put a card down, maybe, so that we don't have to look at it anymore. All right. We'll see. But again, life event reading, and this might end up being a love reading, could be about health. It's really about whatever the last major event in your life was. And you should probably know what it is. So. Yeah, let's draw a card. 3 cards. For the Saggy bros, like me. I'm drawing from the bottom. Alright. Doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes. Alright. What worked? What didn't work? That's an odd card to see in that sort of category. And lesson learned. Excuse me. All right. Guess I can change that. Okay. Yeah. So this resonates for me because I tend to always try and find a lot of balance in my life, almost to my own detriment of not having fun. But I'm not going to say what major life event I'm thinking of, but what worked about it is going to be finding that balance. And I always find it funny that this cat is just pouring alcohol from one goblet to the other. Is that really balance in any way? I don't think so. So a lot of times I feel like this card is sort of telling you to be careful about how you're finding that balance. But for a reading like this, I think it is just saying, hey, that is what worked, is you found that balance. Maybe a good thing to do would be to focus on it in the future. What didn't work? I mean, the Ten of Cups is such a positive card in general. This is an odd spread. But I guess in how I would see this not working, again, I'm more of a visual reader, don't necessarily go off of the traditional tarot meanings. For what didn't work, I think this means too much reliance on the things that give us comfort and make us happy, which I can have a tendency to do that myself, so I guess that resonates. But yeah, just what didn't work here was relying on the things that usually work. And hey, that's comfortable, and it usually works, so you'd think it'd work. But hey, that's what didn't work this time. Hey, isn't that fun how that works? Or doesn't sometimes. So, you can't always count on those things and institutions in your life that usually work to work for you. And I guess that's a good reminder. And lesson learned. I see. I really like these cats when they have those eyes like that with the eyelids on the bottom. The Pentacles are very much a materialistic card suit. I mean. So maybe the lesson to learn here is to just accept the help that's offered to you, and or maybe depending on what scenario you're thinking of, to offer help when it's needed. But I'm thinking for me personally for this reading, maybe just accept the help when it's offered to you, and that might be in the ways of sort of material things. And a lot of people are prideful and don't necessarily take gifts, and not even gifts. Gifts are one thing, like a Christmas present, like a something that's helpful. You might not accept it, and maybe the lesson to learn is to take those things, even if you can't always rely on the people or things around you that you normally do. That doesn't mean you can't accept things that might end up being helpful to you down the road. Yeah, these are all very, these readings could be almost about anything, like I said. So I guess them being vague does keep it so it hopefully will help you and apply to your situation. All right. Thank you for watching. And again, at Tarot Read Show on YouTube for more readings. All right, now we're on to the final element for the evening of the air signs, and we're going to start off with the Libras. All right. And again, this is a life event reading. Basically, think of the most recent big event in your life. This could be love, career, finance, health. This is any kind of reading, really. So think of the last major event in your life. And these three cards are just to kind of help maybe recontextualize it or give a bit of context or clarity just on the event. And we'll do that by drawing one card to show what worked in this event, one thing that didn't work, and then just the lesson that we can learn. So again, you should already know what event I'm talking about. It will be a pretty big thing in your life. You know what I'm talking about, right? So again, this is from a Libras. The scales, let's go. One, two, three. All right, first card, what worked? Okay. And what didn't work? It was weird getting such a positive card in such a odd spot. And then, oh, man, I have seen almost all of the aces today. Interesting. Get this guy been on there. All right. Yeah, so take a moment with this. What worked and what didn't? So I am more of a visual and vibes reader. I don't necessarily go off of the traditional tarot card meanings. That's why I just chuckled a bit, because typically the sun is such a positive card, but in the what didn't work category, I'm seeing somebody who's very much trying to show off and is maybe not seeing how much they're being trouble. Like, I've never seen this card this way before, but I'm seeing the unicorn there with little bulging eyes, not necessarily loving the cats on his back. And I have pointed this out before. There is just a giant red flag in this image. So just maybe what didn't work was maybe you felt like things were going well for you and you were doing super well in this, and maybe you should just take a step back and see if really that's what was happening, or maybe if other people around you weren't necessarily assessing it that way. But let's look at what did work. And what did work was just the way that you were willing to maybe accept help, which does kind of combine with what didn't work. And maybe not help, maybe advice, just the way that you weren't tackling this alone. And you didn't need a ton of help. This is just a little bird on your shoulder. It is just, when combined with the what didn't work card, I think that this is just telling you that you should pay a little more attention to the people around you and not be so self-centered, seeing yourself as the light of whatever this scenario was. No offense. And then just as far as lesson learned, the cups, very emotional suit. So, and the bird, the antithesis of the bird from the first card is actually in this card. So maybe the thing to take away from this is, I actually don't necessarily know what to make of that. I think maybe this is more just a through line here of the thing that you should be doing is listening kind of to others and letting them influence you more on a deeper level. Maybe not just your mind and not just the pentacles. So the 9 of Pentacles with the bird in the first side, those are more of a material card, and the cups are more emotional. So maybe you need to let people influence you more on an emotional level. Bring them in. Don't just have the surface level relationships, because then otherwise you are going to keep seeing yourself as the sun, the light. And that is just really someone with a big red flag behind them. All right, so just it's time for some self-reflection, I think, is all this reading is saying. All right, Libras. Okay. Thank you for watching, and for more readings, definitely check out at Tarot Read Show on YouTube. All right, bye. All right, the second air reading is the Aquarius. All right, second air reading is Aquarius, and second to last reading for the night, Aquarius. And again, this is a life event reading, so that just means think of the most recent big event in your life. It could be a career thing, a love thing, a health thing. This is basically almost any kind of reading, but it will be related to a big recent event in your life. Basically, this is something that should be on your mind. It should be no surprise that this is what the reading's about. You should be thinking about it. All right. And yeah, this is how we do for the Aquarius bros out there. And broettes. You know, I don't think a bro is a gendered term, but just in case there's people who do, yeah. These readings are for everyone, obviously. All right, and the way we do this is the first card is what worked about in this life event. Second card is what didn't work, and the third card is just the lesson that we can learn from it. All right. Here we go, Aquarius. There we go. Make sure I grab the right 3 cards. Okay, yep. First card, what worked? Oh. This is the second time I've gotten that in the what worked category. What didn't work? I've also seen this card before today. Will the third card be one I've seen today? It is not. Oh, that's nice. It's not a bad card either for a lesson learned. Huh. Okay. So again, I got the moon in the what worked category, and just for people out there who aren't aware, I am more of a visual reader. I don't go off the traditional meanings of the cards for the most part. Moon is, kind of a chaotic card just by nature, maybe illusion, and it's got towers in it, which just by their nature in a deck of tarot, in a tarot deck, I kind of think of towers as being a bit chaotic. So how I feel about this card is it's kind of saying like you letting go and letting the universe work its magic and work around you is what worked in this scenario. Letting go. What didn't work maybe was trying to I don't want to necessarily say pay your way out of this scenario, whatever this life event was. Not that you tried to pay your way out of it. Maybe you literally did. But you tried to find workarounds when really what you needed to do was sit back and unfortunately let whatever was going to happen. You were trying to influence it and you couldn't. You needed to just let what happen. A lesson learned, again, it's right there. The cups for an emotional suit is the word I was looking for. And this is a person who is emotionally sound and, again, is just sitting put and letting the universe work around them. All right, so I think that what you should take from this is that you need to be trying to influence things less and let the universe work for you. All right, and that'll give you your emotional fill that you kind of need and are maybe looking for. All right, and that is my read for my Aquariuses for this month for your last major life event. Thank you for watching, and definitely find me at Tarot Read on YouTube for more. All right, and this is the last reading for the night, our final air sign, Gemini. And again, this is a life event reading, and what that means is just think about the last major event in your life. This could be a love reading, could be career, could be finance, could be almost anything. Think of the last major event in your life. That's what this reading will apply to. And you're just basically, these cards are going to hopefully provide maybe some context or maybe recontextualize some things, and we'll get there by the first card will be what worked about this event for you. Second card will be what didn't work. And the third card will be what lessons we can kind of take away from this, all right? And again, you should know exactly what I'm talking about. This life event should be probably first and foremost on your mind. So let's go ahead and do this, all right? Final draw of the night for my Geminis. find the top card and then, just run my finger alongside until it feels right. And then I gotta grab the two below it. Can't lose it. Okay, there we go. I make things complicated for myself. All right. First card is what worked about this life event. Second card, what didn't work. Okay, interesting. And third card, lesson learned. Okay. Yeah, this is pretty straightforward, I'd say. Just because I am more of a visual reader, vibes reader kind of thing. I don't go off of the traditional meanings of the tarot decks. But I will say the magician is pretty straightforward of somebody kind of going off on their own, maybe starting an adventure, typically in a good way. But for this, I think it might be saying what didn't work is that you did try to go off on your own and do things your own way. Yeah. How's that work? And especially when combined with the what worked card, where we have people, cats, literally working together and sharing, I think this is a pretty straightforward. Somebody's messaging me a bunch. I think this is a pretty straightforward read of you need to focus on letting people help you and not going off on your own. But that's where this lesson learned card is kind of interesting. The swords are definitely more of a mental card suit for sure. And this is somebody who is by themselves thinking for sure on their own. I think the lesson to learn here is, but they're also blinded, you see in this picture. Maybe the lesson to learn here, is that you aren't at your best when you're in your mind. You're actually not seeing everything that you need to be seeing. Maybe you feel strong, and obviously wielding two swords, it's easy to look strong. But yeah, I feel like this is definitely a read for somebody who needs to let people help them. And, it's not a bad thing that you tried to go off on your own, but it's not a bad thing to let people help you too. All right, and I think that'll do it. Thank you, Geminis, for watching. And again, check out the @TarotRead Show on YouTube for more readings. Thank you and goodbye.